Hello everyone, this is Shivangi Singh, Cybersecurity Consultant, ENHI Secure Private Limited. In this presentation, I am going to discuss about COBIT, that is Control Objective for Information and Related Technology. Looking at the agenda of the presentation, in this presentation, initially I am going to give a quick overview of COBIT. I will also explain about enterprise governance and IT governance. After that, I will discuss about some of the components of COBIT 5 framework, that is its principles and its enablers. And after that, I will explain about the implementation process of COBIT 5 with the help of an example. And at last, I will discuss about the current updates of COBIT framework, that is COBIT 2019. So firstly, we will try to understand what is enterprise governance. So enterprise governance is basically the set of roles and responsibilities that are performed by the top management to achieve their business objectives. So suppose an organization want to achieve certain profit targets, so they will align their business processes in the direction to achieve those objectives. Now, IT governance is basically the alignment of IT resources within the current enterprise business processes to achieve those objectives. So for such requirements, there are various frameworks available worldwide, and one of such framework is COBIT, which is Control Objective for Information and Related Technology. So this framework was created by ISACA, and the first version of COBIT was released in 1996. And it was basically based on controls related to the financial auditing. With the further released version, the focus of COBIT framework was put on the management and governance of IT. So now with the help of an example, we will try to understand that why an organization should implement COBIT framework within their business processes. So suppose there is an organization which is performing logistic processes, so a company named A&B Logistic. So this company is having their offices in 20 to 21 locations and having 15 to 20,000 employees. So they are running their business in US and Canada. So it is a huge organization, and initially their business was going too good, but with time they lose their control over the IT governance and start facing various issues and crises. So suppose they are using a software which calculates the quickest route to deliver services. Now this software is proposing inadequate result, and it is causing delivery delays to the drivers. So now instead of focusing on this issue related to the software, the IT department is focusing on some other stuff or other issues, and they are also not managing the risk related to IT. Now, if the organization implements the COBIT framework, they can use the COBIT 5 goal cascade within their business processes, so that the top management can pinpoint various issues and various application on which the management should focus on. So the top management will pinpoint the software itself, and the management will started focusing on issues related to the delivery delays and the IT risk management of that particular application or software. So COBIT is a framework which integrates business strategies and IT strategies to manage and govern the information technology within an enterprise. So these are the 5 principles that are provided by COBIT 5 framework, and they help in the achievement of governance and management of enterprise IT. So the 5 principles are: meeting the needs of stakeholders, covering enterprise end-to-end, applying a single integrated framework, enabling a holistic approach, and separating governance from management. So in the upcoming slides, I will be discussing about each of the principles separately. So now we will discuss about the first principle of COBIT 5, that is meeting the need of stakeholders. So first thing to focus here is value creation. Value creation is nothing but what benefit or profit the product or service is offering to the enterprise. So it is governed on the basis of 3 factors, that is benefit realization, risk optimization, and resource optimization. So what benefit the product is offering? Are the threats and opportunities are being managed by the organization, and are the resources being optimized correctly and properly? So these three factors are known as the governance objective, which will be considered under the COBIT 5 goal cascade. So the COBIT 5 goal cascade is used to analyze the various stakeholder needs. So within an enterprise, there can be internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. So various internal stakeholders such as board, management, managers, and the employees, these all are internal stakeholders. Now the external stakeholders such as consumers and vendors, suppliers, so these all are the external stakeholders, and all stakeholders are having their own needs. So in the first phase, all the stakeholders will be determined and their needs will be determined. Now their needs are influenced by various stakeholder drivers. So some of the stakeholder drivers are change in the strategy of business. So suppose a new product is being introduced within an organization, so it will affect the business processes that are currently running. And other stakeholder drivers such as change in the regulation environment or new technologies can also influence the stakeholder needs. So in the first phase, these stakeholder needs will be analyzed. In the second phase, which is stakeholder needs cascade to enterprise goals. So there are 17 enterprise goals that are provided by COBIT 5 framework. Now the stakeholder needs will be categorized on the basis of two subcategories. So one is on the basis of business scorecard, and the another one is on the basis of governance objectives. So the relationship between these will be created on the basis of primary relationship and secondary relationship. So under business scorecard, there are 4 subcategories, that is customers, financial, internals, and growth and learning. So the needs will be categorized among these 4 categories, and now the relationship between these needs and the governance objective will be created on the basis of primary and secondary relationship. So if the stakeholder needs are having direct impact over the governance objectives, so there will be a primary relationship, and if they are not having the direct impact on the governance objectives, so they will create a secondary relationship. Now in the third phase, the 17 enterprise goals are cascade to 17 IT related goals. So there are 17 IT related goals that are provided by COBIT 5 goal cascade. So the mapping in this phase will be conducted on the basis of primary and secondary relationship, that is business scorecard. In the last phase, IT related goals cascade to enabler goals. So 17 IT related goals now will be mapped with the 37 processes present within process reference model, which will be used here, that is provided by the COBIT 5. Now in the next slide, we will try to understand this with the help of an example. So suppose there is an enterprise goals of financial category, that is stakeholder value of business investment. So this will create a primary relationship with the benefit realization governance objective. So it is the objective of top management to analyze various stakeholder needs and to fulfill their needs. If the organization is fulfilling the needs of their stakeholders, they will ultimately benefit the organization, as the sale of the product or service will increase, and their brand value will increase, which will conduct a financial impact on the organization. Now the second example is on the basis of IT related goals. So there is a financial goal of IT related category, that is IT compliance and support for business compliance with external laws and regulations. So this will create a primary relationship with the compliance with internal policies, enterprise goals. So if an organization is implementing COBIT 5 framework within their business processes, it will ultimately adhere to the external laws and regulations, and there will be less chance or no chance of the data breaches. And if there will be no data breach, they will not have to pay any amount for those data breaches, which will produce a benefit for them, that is a financial benefit. So it will create a primary relationship with the compliance with internal policies goal, which is of financial category. Now we will look at the second and third principle of COBIT 5 framework. So the second principle is about covering enterprise end to end. So in this principle, it is being ensured that all the processes that are running within the enterprise are being covered under the scope of COBIT 5 framework. So various roles and responsibilities are being decided under this principle. So we will understand the process with the help of these 4 phases. So the top management will analyze various stakeholder needs and will delegate the governing body to fulfill their needs. Now the governing body will analyze those needs and will instruct the management to execute process for the fulfillment of those activities. Now the management will set directions for the execution team to perform various activities related to the execution of those processes, like planning, building, running or monitoring all those activities. After performing these all activities, the operation team will report back to the management and will provide reports related to those operations. The management will in turn provide the report to the governing body who is monitoring all those processes, and governing body in last will report back to the owners who is responsible for these all processes. Now we will look at the third principle, which is applying a single integrated framework. So as COBIT 5 is a flexible framework, it can be implemented in any organization of any size. So any organization conducting any type of business can implement COBIT 5 framework within their business processes, and it will benefit them in many ways. Now we will look at the fourth principle of COBIT 5, that is enabling a holistic approach. So within this principle, 7 enablers are being provided by COBIT 5 framework. So enablers are nothing but the factors that can individually or collectively can influence the success of a business process. So there are 7 enablers provided by COBIT 5 framework. So the first enabler is related to the principal policies and framework. So under this enabler, the instructions and directions of the top management and governing body are being conveyed to the whole organization. The second enabler is related to processes. So this enabler provides detailed guide to the processes that are available within the process reference model. Now the third enabler related to the organization structure. So it gives a clear picture of the flow of direction from the top management till the execution team and the end employees. Under the good practices under the culture, ethics and behavior enabler, good practices are being analyzed that can be used to manage and encourage the behavior of employees according to various situations that can occur within the organization. The next enabler is related to information. So this will help an organization in making various decisions. The next enabler is related to service infrastructure and application. So this enabler deals with the provisioning of services related to the end customer supports or the support from IT department to the organization. Now the last enabler, that is people skills and competencies, deals with the hiring of various employees according to the skills and competencies they hold that will help the organization in achieving their objectives. So the performance of these all enablers is mapped or determined with the help of these 4 dimensions, that is stakeholder dimension, goal dimension, life cycle dimension and good practice dimension. So the stakeholder dimension ensures that each enabler having their own stakeholders. So suppose the process enabler will be having the parties that execute those processes. So those parties will act as a stakeholder for that particular enabler. The next enabler, that is goal dimension, ensure that each enabler having their own goals that they are planning to achieve. The third dimension, that is life cycle dimension, ensure that each enabler is having their own life cycle So various operations that are performed within the life cycle, such as planning, designing, building, implementing and monitoring. So all of those processes are catered within this dimension. And the last dimension related to the good practices. So it deals with the enablers that help in achieving the goals and objectives related to the success of particular enabler. So now we will try to understand these all processes with the help of an example. So suppose there is a company named NutriWorld Corp. So this company is dealing with various food processing products. So the top management of the NutriWorld Corp has decided to diverse their business to the kitchen services also. So they started investing in larger plants and bigger offices. So now their focus has been changed from their day-to-day processes to the marketing campaign of their new product. So as they have shifted the operations, their day-to-day operations and the responsibility of their day-to-day operations to their staffs, and lose their control on the previous product and start campaigning and marketing the new product. So this caused their sale to fell drastically, and it continue to fall, and subsequently causing a huge damage to their finance. So in their attempt to diverse their business, they lost the focus on their previous product, and they start facing various issues. So how can the organization will now sustain these all issues and will deal with these all issues? So they can use these 4 questions to ask themselves on the basis of these 4 dimensions. So according to the stakeholder dimension, they can ask themselves that are the stakeholder needs addressed. So they fail to check the needs of stakeholders according to their with respect to their the first product. So the needs of stakeholders were not satisfied for the first product. So they started facing those issues. Now the second question they will ask according to the goals dimensions, that are the enabler goals achieved? So the organization failed to achieve the optimum utilization of their resources, and there was a huge shortage of the resources for the production of first product. Now the third question related to the life cycle dimension is that is enabler cycle managed? So the life cycle of activities related to the first product was not managed, as the stakeholders were not identified and their needs were not fulfilled, and their focus was changed from their day-to-day activities, which lead to the mismanagement of their business processes. And the last question was related to the good practices dimension. They can ask themselves is, are good practices applied? So as they put their operations on the staff itself, and stop their focus on the day-to-day operations related to the first product, and put the complete burden on their staff. So they should ensure that their staff is that much competent and skilled, so that they can deal with such situations alone. So these 4 questions the organization can ask themselves. Now for measuring the performance of these 4 dimensions, for the first 2 dimensions, lag indicator matrix is used, and to measure the dimensions of second 2. Now we will see the 5th principle, that is separating governance from management. So under this principle, process reference model is being used. So there are 37 processes that are being provided under process reference model. So within this model, 5 processes are related to governance and remaining 32 processes are related to management. So within these 5 processes, the governing body ensures that the stakeholder needs are evaluated, and they determine the objective of their organization and set directions for the management for the execution of those activities, and monitor all processes. And the execution of those processes are performed by the management, and they deal with all 32 processes related to the plan, build, run and monitor operations. Now will we talk about the implementation process of COBIT 5 framework. So within implementation there are 7 phases. So there are 7 questions. We will understand these with the help of an example. So the first question is, what are the drivers? So in this phase the pain point are being analyzed and the root cause for their triggering is being analyzed. So there can be various pain points like failed IT initiatives or the rising cost of their product and service. So according to our example of A&B logistic, there were many pain points like delay in in delivering services, improper IT management or improper IT governance. So these were the pain points. The second phase is, where are we now? So in this stage the current state is being analyzed and the problems and opportunities are being determined. So for example, for our example related to A&B logistic company, they were getting unreliable output from their software which was resulting in the delivery delays. Now in the third phase, where do we want to be? So in this phase a roadmap will be created and in this phase the desired objective will be set which we want to achieve. So the A&B logistic want to manage their IT services so they can deal with the issues related to their software and delays in delivery. In the fourth phase, that is what need to be done, a program will be planned related to the various roles and responsibilities of various departments that are being participating in the business processes. So for our example, that is for A&B logistic company, various departments are being included are customer support department or logistic department and IT department. So roles and responsibilities of these all departments will be planned in this phase. The next phase is, how do we get there? So in this phase the actual plan will be executed and according to our example, that is of A&B logistic company, the IT department will manage the issues related to those output of the software. The next phase is, did we get there? So in this phase the benefits are being analyzed and the outcome are measured with the previous available outcomes. So the targets are compared in this phase. So for our example of A&B logistic, now the company is successfully catering the problem that are being faced by the application. And in the last phase, that is how do we keep the momentum going? So in this phase the effectiveness of the plan is reviewed on the regular basis and all the activities are monitored on a. Now have you noticed the difference? So these two are the logos of COBIT 5 and COBIT 2019. So the logo of COBIT 2019 having an arrow in the O alphabet which indicates the continuous evolution of COBIT 2019 framework according to the technology and various updates. So these are some of the updates provided in COBIT 2019 framework. So in the new framework, 3 more processes are being added to the process reference model, and now there are total 40 processes, and the model is now known as COBIT core model. Now updates related to cyber security is being continuously evolving in the COBIT 29 framework according to the new trends and technologies in the current world. The next is links to standards. So now COBIT framework can be linked to more standards and help in achieving more beneficial and efficient result by implementing those framework within the enterprise IT. And the last one is design factors. So COBIT 2019 framework provides 11 design factors that helps in implementing governance of IT in a more efficient and better way. For more tech blogs and information like this, do follow our socials. Thank you.